You know, when you're like in a beauty aisle and you're just like having a really intimate moment with a skincare product and you're just like staring at it like, can I trust you? Skincare companies love to entice us with trendy packaging, celebrity endorsements, and exotic sounding ingredients like this night cream enriched with the Ganju berry only found in the subterranean of the Congo River Basin. And you're just like, yeah, that sounds legit. I really wish I could just go through every single quality product out there and tell you, yes, you should buy this, or no, you shouldn't buy this. But honestly, this isn't a Tarantino movie and I don't want to take 3 hours of your time. So instead, I came up with just a few tips that will help you determine if a product is for real or for nah. First, companies love to bank off buzzwords. I was literally in Sephora yesterday and I walked past the serum and it said phytoretinol serum, but then right underneath it on the front of the package it said retinol-like alternative. Okay, so like, how are you about to say that you're retinol but you're not retinol? Like, thanks for the fine print though? Oh, you're still gonna charge me $72 for it? Cool. There are so many companies out there who love to grab your attention with popular ingredients, but they hope that you don't know enough about that ingredient to know that they use the worst possible version or quality of it, or in some cases, none of that ingredient at all. So my first tip is that if you know a certain ingredient is what you want for your skincare product, make sure that you are actually understanding what that ingredient name is in the ingredient list. And also note that there's going to be different versions for different price points. So if we want to take retinol for an example, you can see in the ingredient list retinol, retinoic acid, or retinaldehyde sometimes for those higher price point retinols. But there's also retinol palmitate, which is not quite the same as pure retinol. It's like almost like a cousin of it. I probably wouldn't break the bank on retinol palmitate because I'd rather just spend that same amount of money on pure retinol if I'm going to spend that much money. My next tip is similar to the first, but on the opposite end of the spectrum. Get to know the ingredients that you want to avoid rather than just jumping on those phrases that you think might appeal to you. Probably the most common one that I see is all natural products, right? I am here to tell you, if a product is sitting on a shelf and you're about to buy it, it is not all natural. You know what is natural? Going home, getting an aloe plant, scooping out the gel out of a leaf and putting it directly on your face. That's the only way you're going to get 100% all natural. If a company did that and didn't put any type of preservative in there at all, and then you put that on your face, that'd be pretty nasty. Get to know the ingredients that you want to avoid and try to avoid that in your ingredient list. For example, I personally don't want sulfates in my cleansers because I find them to be too harsh. So every time I'm buying a cleanser, I look in the ingredient list to make sure that there's no sodium lauryl sulfate. My next tip is pretty specific, but I just think it's a really good rule of thumb, and that is do not spend more than $10 on a skincare ingredient if you see mineral oil or petroleum in the first half of the ingredient list. In that case, you're pretty much just paying for overpriced Vaseline. These ingredients are so cheap and kind of old school that if a company is willing to pump most of their product with that, chances are the rest of the product probably isn't that great either. I often see department stores that are sort of stuck on that what your grandmother used mentality, probably the most guilty of this. My next tip is be wary of the product ingredient order. Legally, companies have to list their products that exceed 1% in order of prominence by weight. Any product that is less than 1% can be listed in any order they want towards the end. So if you're buying a hyaluronic acid serum, but hyaluronic acid is at the end of the list, chances are less than 1% of that serum actually has hyaluronic acid in there. Which brings me to my final tip, and that is we have to give brownie points to companies that give percentages of their active ingredients. I think this is why I tend to lean more towards Medi-grade skincare, because I feel like more often than not they do give me percentages of their active ingredients. But if that's something that you can't afford and you're not looking to spend that much on a certain product, another company that I think is doing a really great job doing this is The Ordinary. If we start demanding from our beauty companies to include the percentages of their ingredients, then maybe we can start holding them accountable for their manipulative marketing strategies and their tricky ways that they overcharge us. Our skin health is incredibly important, and we have the right to know exactly how much of an ingredient we're putting on our skin and into our bodies. Hopefully this has given you a few things to consider when you're looking at a skincare company or a skincare product and trying to decide if they are the real deal or they're just trying to sell you some overpriced Vaseline. Thanks for tuning in to Skin Health by Lindsey, and if you liked this video, please hit subscribe below to see more videos about skin health backed by science.